Hi, Get Unstuck Nation. Today's very interesting topic. So let me introduce Kelsay right here. She is a force of compassionate change, helping creative individuals who want freedom from their inner blocks holding them, and everything that could transform their life to a better way with the soul-based expressive art. I'm interested because I have touched this part a little bit when I did the therapy with my counselor, but I have never really gone deep into the expressive art that much. So I'm very interested and excited to talk to Kelsay today. So thank you so much for joining Get Unstuck Radio today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. So before we get into your expertise though, how you started this entrepreneurial journey? Like why you started this?
Yeah, so I used to care so much, really deeply about what other people thought or what I imagined other people were thinking about me, so much so that when I was in relationships with people, I would actually abandon or betray things that I believed in just so that I could better fit in with what their ideas were about the world. And eventually I just realized that that wasn't a way to exist because I was really losing myself in other people. And I began this very intensive healing journey that allowed me to really come back and center in who I am and what I believe. And then I was able to be much more expressive and successful in my life and feel much more fulfilled. So it's really a passion of mine to share the tools and the resources that I've learned to help embody who I am so that other people who might feel lost or who are really wanting to get or to see their whole selves reflected back in the world and in their lives. I really want to help them be able to express and embody that for themselves as well.
I think this is very important for many people who still depending their life on others people's opinion, I guess. What is the point? What was the point where you say that I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, so I was really I was involved in a very sort of unhealthy group of people that would talk behind each other's backs and just like really believe that in order to be connected you had to totally agree on everything, and a lot of the things I didn't actually agree with, and so I felt I did it so I could be part of that group, but I realized I was really unhappy and that it wasn't the life that I wanted to be living for myself. And a lot of, my friends and family couldn't understand why I was doing this. And I had to really confront the fact that I had this wound as an adoptee of, really feeling abandoned and rejected and wanting to belong, and that it would come out in unhealthy ways if I didn't address it. And it would keep kind of coming back in ways that weren't good for me. So I made a decision to really confront and change and grow from that experience and become much more integrated so that I don't feel that pull or that draw to abandon myself anymore.
So the key is to make decision, right? So at the end of the day, you have to find the force to move forward in the better self or the be more yourself, not like to obey to others suggestion or so I think people usually especially Asian society where I live, they tends to care about you a lot, like have to pave way further, like what suggestion that you should be, blah blah blah. Opinion wise, what do you think when we address to the older generation of what we want to do, and when they kind of disagree, how usually you suggest your clients to go through that situation?
It can be really hard to go against, people that you love and people whose opinions you value, especially when it really is about something that we need, right? Because we're so taught by society to ignore what we want and what we need for the good of other people, particularly I think as women. And while that's good, to care about other people, it really isn't selfish to also, be fulfilled and be our true selves when the alternative really is like, depression or living a life that really isn't satisfying and that doesn't really hold what we value and what we believe, in our souls. So I think what I work with on my clients is being able to hold that, maybe their loved ones might not agree or might give some pushback, but being able to stay strong in their own voice and in their own truth, regardless of what's happening in their environment or in the outside world, so that they really have that inner trust and inner confidence to do what they want and need for their life.
Mm-hmm. And how arts come in to help this journey though? How you combine arts coming in?
Yeah, I found that the arts can be very, very healing because they express parts of ourselves that maybe words don't, or maybe we don't have the words yet, but being able to draw it or express it through objects or write and reflect internally brings out different layers of who we are and different symbols or pictures of what that might look like that we haven't necessarily tapped into before. And being able to then work with those, I work with my clients to embody whatever images they're seeing or symbols that they're picking up in our work together. And in that dialogue between the different aspects of the self, as well as the different art mediums, it brings about integration at a different level than just kind of talking or reflecting on it.
Would that usually help? So that's interesting. Decided like pick one symbol and then like reflect that on how they feel of the layers. That's very interesting. So okay, let's start with the layers of self. There are many layers.
Yeah, exactly. So like we might not even recognize. I had a client that grew up in LA seeing graffiti and when tagging was really popular, and because she was a girl, she wasn't allowed to do it. Her brother could do it, or she saw other people doing it, but she didn't, and she had forgotten that until we had this session where she just like couldn't talk anymore, and she like there were no words and she wasn't sure what she wanted to say or express. So I just had her draw and like not even think about it, but just put the oil pastels to the paper, and what came out was what looked like a graffiti with a tag, and she came up with this tag for herself that made her feel empowered, and like she could be sort of that rebel and do whatever she wanted to do and like take up a full block if she wanted to. And that became an aspect of her identity that we could work with and build on to bring in more self-confidence and more outward expression and more of that sort of rebel attitude of I don't care what other people think of me, I'm just going to do this. So that's one way, and it looks different for everyone, but it's a similar aspect. What does confidence look like for you? What helps you to feel that sort of rebel, empowered, badass kind of thing?
Yeah, if you ask me right now, I cannot think about anything right now, for this question. I don't know. I don't really know. It's like when I go to the therapy session and then I got asked, they asked me like, what is my happiness? I can't answer. Like I have to like digest for the situation and like deep down, like peel off the layers, as you say. Yeah, I think that's true. There are many parts of emotion that on top of each other. But I think people not really notice that self-confidence is very important to do everything.
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious too, because you have a podcast, so that requires a certain amount of self-confidence, right? To be able to put yourself out there continuously and really share your voice. So I'm just curious, what helped you to
Oh
be able
yeah.
to do that?
So I started this podcast 2 years ago. Um, I wasn't confident to use my own voice to teach other by that time, but I had clients already, but it's not as like how I interview others and having a real conversation like this. I think I'm good. I think I'm good at interviewing other people and pull out their expertise to show on the screen or show on the voice or like within our conversation. And I think it's interesting to read afterwards. So I just want to combine people that I met and have a kind of like diary for myself. And I can always refer back, like, I spoke to this person, maybe you need help with, or, oh, I have heard this from this person. Okay, I know now what conversation should go further. So I I think my confidence bring up by learning from others. That would be my way. Yeah, it's like shorter times of reading books, but like really having a conversation with the expert. So that's how I overcome kind of like not really speaking much to speaking openly more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard
Yeah.
though. It's been 2 years. I know. But what type of
Yeah.
arts? What type of arts? I mean, like you guys going to draw something? I'm not the artist that much, but like I love water paint though. I like to like just playing around with it, but no direction.
Yeah, so water painting is really it is a great way because it's simple, right? And it's quick. Like you can get it out on the page quickly. So any sort of art medium like watercolors or oil pastels that you can express like within 15 to 20 minutes, ideally, because it's really not about having a high quality or like an artistic piece, but having a true expression of what's happening for you in the moment. So things like water paint and oil pastels or colored pencils or even just sketching with a pen or a highlighter can be really effective because it still expresses what's there.
I think behind this is to let it out, not keeping it in, right?
Yes.
That's the key. It's like when you journal, but like it's just like if you don't want to write something that other people can read, you just draw it out.
Yeah, so part of the expressive arts really is to kind of lessen that internal judge or critic so that we're not thinking about the quality of what we're writing or drawing or expressing with collage or found objects. It's really about the authentic expression of, is this really what's happening for me? And can I identify what's happening for me in the moment and express it in some way?
So from your experience with your clients, when you mentioned about lights and liberation that they got transformed after have been doing this expressive art, what is that really looks like, the transformation?
Yeah, so my 5 keys for unlocking light and liberation take somebody through the process of what it's like to really look in and identify different blocks or stories that we've been telling ourselves that keep us small or that hold us back or keep us hidden and safe because it's comfortable not to be seen and not to be out there for who we are. So it's really first working at being able to name and encounter and meet what is there that's preventing us from doing what we really want, which is to be out there and to be our true selves. And then through through writing, through movement exploration, which and through drawing, which really is just, again, moving with the emotions or the symbols or the different colors from what we've expressed, we can begin to unwind in our bodies just through kind of moving with what that color is, or what that symbol is, what that feeling is. And when we begin to unwind and unpack that in our body, we can release that, and then a shift just naturally occurs because we are listening and allowing it to happen in our systems rather than trying to like control or do it with the mind.
Interesting. Yeah, and I mean, in case anyone want to try this though, where can they reach out to you then?
You can find me on my website, dialogicalpersona.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at Dialogical Persona. And you can also sign up for that 5 Keys for Unlocking Light and Liberation is a free online self-paced course that I have that takes you through sort of a teaser of beginning to unpack and unwind these stories and create new ones that can really bring about the light and liberation.
So everything will be written in the description below, everyone. And I think it's simple and very effective way to just follow Kelsay and just like reflect on yourself to see the light and revelation again. So thank you so much, Kelsay, for joining Get Unstuck Radio today.
Thanks so much, Vitita. I've really enjoyed this.
Hey, thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed the show, you can subscribe here or here. And this is the previous episode. Check it out. See you next time.